Hey, what's up, guys? We got a very special episode today. We got the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Christin Rachelle. She's a walking powerhouse in her own light. That's what this show's all about, bringing you amazing people to share their stories, their experiences, knowledge with you, because each one teach one. Just know that today's episode is going to be very special.
So I'm Christin Rachelle. I'm a realtor from Houston, Texas, a realtor and a veteran from Houston, Texas, U.S. Army. I'm also fitness influencer as well.
Mm, wow, I like that.
So yes, I'm not used to introducing myself. It sounds weird.
I just figured it was the best way to, let everybody know how well-rounded you are. You're not just a you got more than just one skill.
Hmm. It's
So,
essential though. It's essential to be successful, to be passionate about just more than one thing.
hmm And I'm guessing the fitness also helps with the real estate as well because it probably helps with your mindset and everything.
Yeah, when I first started real estate, I wasn't really all in. I was really all into fitness.
Okay.
And a friend of mine is a very successful real estate broker, and he made a comment the other day. A friend was like, "What do you think shifted in Kristen?" And
hmm
he was like, "She just took that same passion she had for fitness and just shifted it to real estate, and you know, went
Wow.
on."
Okay. I like that. That's pretty good. Do you remember what your first deal was like in real estate?
Yeah, my first deal, it was a little lady,
hmm
little old lady, black lady, and she came to me and didn't look like she had any money, didn't look like she could afford anything.
hmm
And as a beginner in real estate, they tell you you fake it till you make it.
hmm
She came to me, she said she was looking for a home. She wanted to pay cash. Any other realtor that would have seen this lady would have been like, oh, she don't have nothing. I was a newbie. I was hungry. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to show home. So I sent her a couple things and we went out, we went looking, and she's like, okay, I want to make an offer on this home. And I said, okay, so how are you paying for it? We doing cash, And she sent me her bank statement and I was like, this little lady. So what happened with her is she was raised by her mother
hmm
and her father had stepped out on her. So she wasn't raised by her father, doesn't know her father, doesn't know her father's family. And he passed away and in his will said, since I was not here for my daughter as a child, I want to leave this money to her to buy a home. And she had little to nothing to her name. And then one day a lawyer contacted her and was like, hey, this is for you. And she came to me and it was a lesson in you never judge a book by its cover. You never push anyone away or not take them seriously because of what they look like or what you think they may not have, you know? So
Mm.
that was my first deal, a very humbling experience.
Okay, what type of home was it? Multifamily?
So she bought a townhome cash. I'm not allowed to disclose like pricing and stuff like that, but she bought a townhome in Humble cash, and she still has it. She came to me about a year ago, and she was like, "Hey, Kristen, I think I'm about selling it." And we got ready to list it, and she's like, "No, I'm not ready. This is my first home." So, and she's probably got to be about 70 years old, and to be a first-time home buyer at 70 that's how hard she had it at life. So to be able to buy something cash for her was really important.
That's big. That's big, and that's
Mhm.
still a milestone in her life. So
Right.
that's big. Is your portfolio only in Texas or?
Yes, as an agent, you're only licensed in the state that you practice in. So I'm licensed here in Texas.
Okay, okay. So for the newbies who were never gotten into real estate, what is something you could tell them about mindset? Because sometimes people want that quick overnight turnaround. Like, since with your experience, what is something you could tell the listeners?
So I always laugh. I could show you this morning I had 6 messages.
Wow.
People DMing me and they're like, I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna join real estate. Can you give me advice? And half the time I don't, because my time is valuable and my time is money. So I don't just give everyone who messages me that advice. But a lot of people, I laugh because they think they're gonna leave their 9 to 5 job and come to real estate and make their first sale and have all this money and live this luxurious life. But that's just like not the case. Real estate is 24/7. If you don't hustle, you don't eat. There can be times where you have 6 or 7 closings in 1 month, and there can be times where you have no closings for a whole 2 months. It's the name of the game. I recently had $1 million transaction that was supposed to close last week, and the appraisal came back 3 days before closing lower, and we couldn't come to an agreement with the seller. That's almost $40,000 that I was supposed to get that I didn't. So people think that you come in here and it's just easy money, and it's not. It's not for the weak-hearted, and that's why they say only 1% of people who have a license are actually successful at it. So my advice to them is stop looking at all the successful realtors on Instagram and trying to show up as them and be them. Be okay with being humble and crawling before you walk. Go to somebody who's done it before you. Be okay with being under them and be mentored by them, and show up for yourself every day, even when like it looks like nothing is in your pipeline. You got to show up as if it's a live or die situation, pretty much.
Okay.
Because if you go in here with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, that's what you're going to get out of it.
Okay, so what do you think separates a successful realtor from those who give up or want to give up?
Well, successful ones don't give up. That's the first hand. But I think the successful ones, they're not scared to fail. I feel like once you get out there, you're gonna fail a couple times, and you're gonna be told no more times than you're told yes. But it's that one yes that's gonna pay the bills at night. So you got to keep fighting. And I think a lot of the successful realtors, they're just in it. They're all in. I think the ones that are not successful are the ones that don't want to put in the hustle, don't want to put in the work, don't want to be told no. They want to wear the Fendi and the Gucci and the Louis, but they don't want to stay up. You know, they don't want to be the first one up to call leads. They don't want to be calling and getting hung up on by leads and people who, which is crazy because people will click on your ad, submit their information, and then you call to follow up, and then they're cussing you out. Don't call my phone. Well, you reached out to me, you know? So have you ever had the people like you accidentally subscribe to something and they constantly calling you? You deal with that a lot in real estate, especially as a realtor trying to follow up with leads. So if you're easily intimidated, if you're easily like, you know, you got to have a backbone in this business.
You gotta have thick skin, basically.
Yeah,
thick skin.
especially with other realtors too, because there's some realtors, they don't know what they're doing. Some realtors have an attitude. Some people don't want to work with you. Some people, and people are people. Some people are like to be difficult for no reason. So you just gotta, you know your worth and stand by what you know.
Okay. Can you talk about a great deal without mentioning the numbers? Like something that was like, do you remember when it went from like, oh man, like I'm worried to like, okay, now I'm actually getting deals. Like, you know, how did that feel? You know, that transition when you were basically, I look at you as an established realtor. So like, you know, like from the beginning to where you're like, it's a wheel of flow. It's like second nature to you. Like what caused those shifts? Like, do you remember certain, you know, things that you've learned in the process?
So what a lot of people don't know, because like on social media for the longest time, I only posted my fitness content because I'm a figure competitor. But a lot of people who've been following me since the very beginning, they think I just got my license maybe 3 years ago, but I've had my license for 8 years. My mother is a real estate broker, so I've been in real estate. And when I first started in 2015, I went to Keller Williams in San Antonio. And I realized that I was a small fish in a big pond, and they did not give a damn about me. They didn't care to mentor me. I don't care how much Keller Williams says they are going to mentor you. They get that money off of that monthly check that you pay just to be with Keller Williams. So I took the easy route and I went and did apartment locating, and was doing apartment locating, was making good money, had a very well established apartment locating business in San Antonio for 2 years. Then I made the transition to come back to Houston, and Lord have mercy, Houston was a completely different ball game. And I wanted to party, I wanted to turn up, and like I said, being 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you're not going to get nothing out of it in this business. So I started personal training, and if somebody would come to me and need an apartment, I'd help them find an apartment, make a little commission check. But then I started to mature. And I remember I went from my 1-bedroom apartment and to a beautiful 2-bedroom condo. And then I was like, but you know what, there's so many other things I want in life, and fitness isn't going to get that for me. So I was like, let me take a break from fitness and really just give it a shot by going all in. Because one thing I have learned is anything that I put my mind to, I go all in, I accomplish, I do it. So I decided to go all in December, I think of 2017, and had my first contract within a month. And then after that, I was just rolling in contracts. I joined a real estate team. I humbled myself. It didn't matter that I had been a realtor for as many years as I had at the time. I joined a real estate team with new agents, and I had a broker that was over me, and I just humbled myself. She was not paying us our full commission. For majority of the time that I was doing very well, I wasn't getting paid anything. She was pretty much taking all of our commission for herself and going on trips all the time. But because I was just so proud of the constant contracts and success and the numbers I was getting, and I'm also a retired veteran, I didn't yet know my worth. I didn't yet know that how I was producing was at an elite level. So that's when I decided to build my own house. And then when I went through that was a lot. And I feel like that made me a better agent, because now I can empathize with my buyers that are going through emotional hurdles with their process. But then it took some friends that I met that are very successful in real estate and with other brokerages, and they're like, do you not know who you are? Because I be damned if I'm producing and working and hustling like you and getting paid what you're getting paid. I mean, I tell you, like, I would sell a home and only get like $2,000. And she would be off and out of the country. And I'm like, oh no, she cares about us. She's my leader, she's my mentor, she cares about me. And once I kind of woke up and my following started growing on social media, and then I started realizing, wait, hold up, I have something different. So I went up to her and I said, hey, I said, I know you want us to look all glitz and glam on social media and be these top producing team, award-winning team, but we're struggling. And I'm one of your top producers, so I know the other girls are struggling. Shoot, one girl had only 3 transactions the whole year, and I didn't even know that because I was so focused on what I'm doing. And I said, even if you don't give us our full commission, are you okay with at least increasing it? And she said, no, I'm trying to retire. So that's when the Lord spoke to me, and the Lord was like, I've told you several times, go independent, do your own thing. You have what it takes. If I bring you to it, I'll bring you through it. And I was like, I know God, but I'm scared, and I'm gonna continue being over here. And he just like made me so uncomfortable to the point to where I had no choice but to go independent. And I went independent, and my friend he had mentioned he wanted to start a brokerage called Surge. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come with you and let's grow this thing. And it was hard. Like I didn't leave Remax and just start selling homes and making big commissions. Like I went June to September without a dime. I'm living off my savings.
Wow.
But then I feel like God was pruning me and testing me in that time. Like, okay, you preach this, you preach that. Like, come on. Like, and then that's when I got that one listing, and then one sale, and then one client came back to me, and then another client came back to me. And then I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And it's just been, I think it's all a matter of realizing your worth. I think a lot of people that feed off of you and eat off of you, they want to keep you suppressed. Kind of like they say, I'm big in church. Kind of like they say,
Preach.
that the enemy don't want you to know your worth. The enemy wants you lonely. The enemy don't want you seeing you. But when God brought people around me that were elite, they're like, do you not see what we see? Like, why are you putting up with this?
There's this thing I heard from Grant Cardone one time when he said like, if he was to like lose $1 million business to like today, tomorrow he has all that knowledge still to, you know. So I feel like even if they try to suppress you, when God just throws that light bulb, it's like, yo, I got all these skills, I got all these knowledge. You know your worth, and it's like it's almost an insult on them because now it's like, yo, like you could have, if she was blessing you from the beginning, you could have blessed her even more, you know?
But the thing about it is my partner, we don't say boss and we say partner. My
Mm.
partner now says if she truly was a leader and she
Mhm.
truly was a mentor and the boss she says she is, she would have looked at me and saw the potential and said, the more she grows, the more I grow.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
let me, especially if you want to retire, especially if you don't want to do this no more, how does it help you to suppress me when I can be the very thing that keeps you going even when you're not working, you know? So when it comes to leadership, I think the difference in leadership is between Rob and her is his selflessness.
Selfless.
The fact that he wants me to win with nothing attached to him, even when he was, because a lot of people don't know, but my following grew because I used to be so timid and scared and insecure to be on camera, but I'm goofy and outgoing. So Rob was like, yo, start showing them you. And I was like, you know what? January 2020, I'm gonna start doing videos and I'm gonna post them on Instagram. And I don't care if I get one like, if I like it, I like it. And then my following just grew and everybody started to love me. That was because of Rob. And a lot of people don't know he's the one who really pushed me
Shout outs
to
to
be,
Rob.
to be comfortable. And he wasn't even a broker at the time. He was another realtor. So even when you're not making anything off of me, you're still trying to elevate me. And now I'm his agent and I'm bringing the first $1 million deal to his brokerage. It's like the more he pours into me, it's just a reflection of him versus this other woman. It was, oh, you're trying to be Christin Rachelle. And this is not Christin Rachelle. This is the such and such group. Well, what's wrong with me being Christin Rachelle?
Exactly.
You know? So
Wow.
yeah, that's kind of when I realized I got this, is after I stopped holding on to other people and relying on other people. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, do you know who you are? But not just do you know who you are, but do you know who your God is? You know, he didn't bring you this far and he didn't bring these friends and these people up to you just for you to be like, you know what, y'all, I'm gonna leave Remax and I'm gonna join a small boutique brokerage that's been open for a month. God doesn't give you those ideas just for you to fall flat on your face. I remember when I was building my house, I made the mistake of not getting pre-approved before I was looking at houses. So I fell in love with my house, the floor plan. And then when I went through the mortgage process, they kept telling me I would not qualify. I was too young. I didn't have enough established credit, such and such, such and such. 3 mortgage brokers told me that. My best friend Nigel told me, God does not bring you to something, dangle it in your face and be like, ooh, gotcha. Ooh. He's like, that's not the God that we serve. If God brings you to it, he's going to bring you through it. The issue was the mortgage brokers I was going to was not somebody that God wanted me to be working with.
The alignment was off. It wasn't aligned.
Right.
I got you.
And my mother had a lifelong friend that she wanted me to do real estate with for a long time. And I was crying. I said, Mom, I'm gonna lose the house. I'm gonna lose the house. And she said, call Shane, call Shane. And I was in the gym parking lot crying. I called Shane. I said, Shane, I'm about to lose my house. I said, I just filled out your application. Can you please look into it? He was able to get me an approval within 10 minutes.
Wow.
And Shane also was able to get my client Ashley into her home when the builder told her no 3 months later. So God doesn't bring you to something just to dangle it in your face like a little kid playing, like like the little claw machine that you go grab it and you bring it up, and that's not the God we serve.
I like that. Yes, I like that.
So if having a podcast, if doing real estate, if working out, if wanting to lose weight, if it's something that God has put on your heart, it first starts with you believing yourself that you can do it, and then also believing that, letting God do what he does best. Because I feel like we all get in our own way.
Yeah. So real quick, twice you mentioned that you built your own house. So to me, that's so impressive. Do you feel like that you've built your dream house, or do you feel like in the future you may build another house?
No, so I did not build it myself. I went through Chesmar, it's a builder, but it's a very beautiful home. Definitely much larger than a first home at my age. It was a lot of home for 26 years old at that time. But I initially bought the house not as my forever home. I don't see me bringing a man into the house. But one of the things I've always wanted to accomplish before I settled down was owning my own home. I wanted a home with big ceilings and a big fireplace and a big kitchen. It was just, how can I guide people to something that I haven't done myself? So it was something that I wanted to do. But I don't look at it as my first forever home. I look at it as my first investment home. And it's already have $140,000 of equity in it. And I've had it for almost 1.5 years. So that investment was probably the best thing, because I had been spending like $1,900 a month on an apartment, 1,200 square foot apartment. Now I'm in an almost 3,000 square foot house. But yeah, I mean, anybody who, whether you built your house, whether you're buying a house, whether it's a $100,000 home, whether it's $1 million home, anybody who makes the choice to buy something that's an asset for them it's a big deal.
Yes. In terms of like education, do you feel like do you have any books or podcasts or anything you suggest or recommend to the listeners that they could, get
I
informed?
do.
Okay.
I do. What really helped me was, I think his name is Gary J. Bishop. It's called Unfuck Yourself.
Unfuck Yourself. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I was a top producing trainer for a corporate gym. We sell training packages and stuff. And my boss pulled me to the side one day and he was like, Christin, he said, you don't realize who you are. He said, you have a thing that people wish they could put in a cologne bottle and sell for millions, and that's charisma. And he said, but you're never going to tap into it until you get out of your own way. So I read that book and it helped me stop self-sabotaging. It helped me stop procrastinating. It helped me with self-doubt. And then maybe a month after I finished that book, I quit training and I went into real estate.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So they have that one, and hold on, let me pull up that is my favorite because it made the most impact on my life.
So everybody listening, I hope you guys got your notepads like me and your index cards like me from Staples, because there's a lot of gems being dropped. So
From Staples. A good podcast I listen to, if you're a woman, and not necessarily podcast, but you can go on YouTube. Um, what is Lynn? What is TD Jake's wife? Not wife's daughter's name. Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Okay.
If you're a woman and you're trying to be a powerhouse woman, that's a good one. And then um, where is this? Her husband has a book, Tori Roberts, called Wholeness,
Wholeness. Okay.
because I strongly believe that it doesn't matter if it's your personal life or your business life or your spiritual life. If you're not whole within yourself, you got to be whole within yourself first. Um, if you believe in like affirmations and meditating and stuff like that, there's a daily book called it's by Louise Hay, Mirror Work.
Okay.
Before we started, when we first started our real estate team, my broker handed all of us that book, and I was the only one who took it seriously and finished, but it completely changed my life. More so the way I looked at myself.
That's
So
big.
it's
That's
kind
big.
of like like when you make spaghetti, you have to drain the noodles and you put it in the bowl with a bunch of holes in it. That's kind of what it looks like when you're trying to elevate and trying to succeed at things in life, but you're so broken within yourself.
Okay. So how important is it of letting go of the wrong energies and knowing, like where you like basically like where your time is valued and where when you go, I don't think this person appreciates my time anymore. It's time to go. Like, are good at like removing not time wasters out your life. I don't want to make it sound negative,
I get what you're saying. So it's funny you said that because I see a doctor. Her name is Jody. She's a holistic therapist. I meet with her once a week. She keeps me grounded. And today, I had got into it with my best friend, more so because I want him to elevate in life, and I've tried to give him several hand ups. But I feel like misery loves company, and the choices you make, if you continue to choose things that are making you miserable, despite the handouts of people who love you that are trying to help you elevate, you're the problem. And I want to start a podcast. I want him to be the first agent at my real estate group, but it's like I can't keep putting things off for you to be ready. So I talked to Jody, and I told her, I said, hey, I think I messed up today. I got mad at my friend and I fussed at him and I said this, and she kind of laughed and she smiled, and I said, did I not do wrong? And she's like, no, I'm proud of you. You're setting your boundaries. And she said, setting your boundaries, knowing your price. And, I posted a quote today on my social media that said, my price is my price. And if you're not willing to pay that price, if you're not willing to show up in my life and be a positive influence, if you're holding me back, you got to go. I don't care how close you're getting. Because people are in your life for a reason and a season.
I like that. I like that. And then to add to that, one thing that you probably heard too is I'm big on personal development, mindset, so rich dad, poor dad, think and grow rich, all of that stuff. And the owner of the Houston Rockets, Tillman Fertitta is his name. He in a podcast he said, um, no matter what room you're in, there's always the positive people and negative people. You got to know who you are in every room. So that way, no matter what's happening, like if you start feeling anxiety or something, that might be some type of negative energy trying to get under your skin. So now you know how to navigate whatever room you're in. And I was like, So that
But
always
you know
like,
what? That book Mirror Work I was telling you about,
huh?
That's why things like that are so important, because you have to be whole within yourself to know who you are to even be able to make those type of decisions.
Facts, facts.
You know, there's a lot of people out here that um, are insecure within themselves and seek validation from the outside influence. So they'll go in that room, and it doesn't matter if you're the positive or the negative.
Mm,
Whomever is giving them that validation is who they're going to go with.
mm,
But if you're whole within yourself and you know, I don't need your validation, then you won't need their energy either. So
mm.
it all starts with that wholeness.
Yes, I like that.
Hmm.
Big gems, big gems. I don't think they was ready for this. So, just to start wrapping it up, what is your definition of success?
um, I think success and wealth would be the same for me. It's funny. Yesterday, me and Lynn were talking. Lynn is the little short girl in all my videos on my page.
Okay.
And I needed a new intention candle. So I was looking at the website and I was like, I said, they have success. I said, they have wealth, they have abundance, and they have money. I said, which one should I do? And she said, well, abundance means you could have a bunch of all of them instead of me just being like, oh, I want the money. So success to me is, you know, more than just making money. It's living in your truth. It's achieving the goals that you want. It's actually manifesting and knowing you're worth something and getting it, not being on Instagram and what is it that they call imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. That's yeah.
Yeah, like being authentically you, you know, God can't use you if you can't be transparent.
Mm,
Success to me is when you reach a point to where you can be authentically you and be free and live the life that you want to live. You
mm,
know, in real estate, success to people, somebody like, for example, our real estate group, my goal is 15 million this year. Lynn's goal is 4 million this year. That's a big difference, but it's the same joy to us both. You know, she doesn't need to produce that much to be happy. I do. So whatever goal you set for yourself in life, not just money wise, that's my ideal of success.
wow. Wow. Um, you probably heard this type of question before, but if you could go back in time to talk to your I was gonna say 21-year-old
Younger
self,
self.
your younger self, or do you have any gems or any words you would tell them?
um, Listen to your mom. No, I would tell my younger self, enjoy life. Don't be so serious. Don't mess up your credit. Make sure you pay the car note and them cars on time. Don't take a bunch of lines of credit. Learn how to be good with your money. Um, but most importantly, be responsible and enjoy life. I feel like for me, I guess a lot of us like I use driving a car as an example. We don't just get a license and get in the back of the car.
Right.
We have to learn, we have to practice. So we become 18 and now we have to pay bills and we have credit in this. And if we don't have parents that teach us that, we can completely mess up. So don't be ignorant, learn, be responsible, but also don't be so serious. Enjoy your life because we don't get those younger 20s back.
Okay.
And if you're a woman, don't be chasing after a bunch of dudes. Save
And
that for later.
yeah, right. And if you're a man, don't be chasing a bunch of girls neither.
And don't let one girl that hurt your feelings make you be bad to all other women.
Mm, mm, I like that.
Because I
Um,
know a lot of good men that were like, I was a good man before, but this girl in my 20s, it's like, you're in your 20s. What do you expect? Y'all get married and be Mary Poppins?
wow. Yeah, no. So I also mentioned I heard you say you're gonna do you have a podcast coming out soon.
Yeah.
Do you already have a name and everything already going? Not yet. It's still a surprise. It still didn't drop yet.
It's
And
still a surprise.
okay.
So everyone loves Nigel. We were gonna do it ourselves,
Hmm.
but he's currently in San Antonio. And the
Mhm.
goal was for him to move out here and, do it. But he made the decision to not move out here. So now it's like, okay, well, the show got to go on.
Right.
So I just got that information today. So now it's kind of like back to the table and figure it out on my own.
Well, just know I'm an extension of you. So if I'm on iHeartRadio, just know after this, I'm gonna show you how to get on iHeartRadio. Just make sure you're equipped for success because I believe in you. I wanted to make this happen, so I'm so happy you even responded and we made this happen. But so I'm wishing you the most success, more success, and just let everybody know where they can find you. And thank you so much for such an amazing episode. I believe, this show, I named this podcast the Walking Powerhouse Podcast because
Mhm.
a lot of people are walking powerhouses from their knowledge, their skills, how they compose themselves, and they can add so much value just because they are who they are. And like, what's easy to you is extremely difficult to a newbie. And what I've learned over the years is that sometimes we make things sound so far or in the distance or difficult, but all it really is just lack of information. Because once you get that info, it's like, oh, that's it. That's all I had to, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
just making
So,
that
mhm,
one step. Like
mhm,
I told Lynn yesterday, my house was so unorganized because I was like so upset over something last week. And
mhm.
I said, I looked at the kitchen, the dishes, and I was like, oh my God, that's a lot. But I was like, just one at a time.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to be clean and then you're going to be on a whole new level. So just, newbies, just take that one day. Don't be scared to be new.
Yes. Perfect. And where can everybody find you online?
You can find me on Instagram, Christin Rachelle _realtor. I do not have multiple realtor pages. I do have Christin Rachelle Fitness, and that's it. I know there are a lot of fake pages out there. I will never ask you to fill something out. I will never ask you for personal information. So if there is a fake page that DMs you, I promise it's not me. If you have any real estate related questions, or if you are looking in Houston or Dallas, Texas, the best way to reach me is through email, which is kristinrachelle@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, www.kristinrachelle.com, and submit a request.
Perfect. Thank you. It may time out, but do you feel like there's a question that I didn't ask you or something you'd like to share before we go?
No, I think you covered quite a bit.
Okay, yes, yes, definitely we did. I hope to have you again in the future because it only gets better. And once again, I'm wishing you the most success. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I
You
hope
have a good night.
you as
All
well.
righty.
All right.